What are you laughing at? We haven't even started yet. Hi folks, welcome to week 9 of Ray's Tech Tips. Ray said last week we were going to talk about legs, which sounds as boring as switches to me, Ray. I don't know, but people still seem to be enjoying these videos. Hello Arcade Russ and all Natural Progression out there is trying to fix his, what is that thing? Baywatch. Good luck with your Baywatch there. Let us know how that turns out. Ray, bring us up to speed here.
It's a neat pin. Yeah, legs. This is just to show you an overview of what's made. Most people avoid replacing something simple like this because they're not sure where to get it or if it's even made, so they leave their rusty bent legs on.
That they got because they bought the machine from up the street and it came with 4 different style rusted out legs on it.
Yeah, along with painted stuff. It's so easy just to buy new. If it's in usually a high-end game room or anybody's game room with a finished floor and so forth, you don't want to put rusty leg levelers, which usually get a hole developed here and they get sharp and tear up carpeting.
That's a new one.
Yeah, this is a stamped one. It's a 3-inch for back legs. The shorter one is the 2-inch for the front legs. And these are called jam nuts, by the way.
I say jam on it.
Jam nut is half of a height of a regular nut, hex nut. And when you put on the leg, they're all the same 3/8 16 thread. You want to put the jam nut on the bottom always, not on the top.
Where does it go?
On the bottom.
Okay, not on the top?
You don't need one on the top. The bottom is where your load is at because the weight is pushing down. You want the nut on the load, and it's just a common sense thing. You don't put it on the top.
Then why do people, if it's common sense, why do we see them on the top?
I don't know. They don't know which way to put it, but they go on the bottom.
Okay.
Fronts are generally down all the way, unless you have a leveling requirement, which is another important feature of a leg. They're adjustable leg levelers to level the side to side and the front to back pitch of the game. Different kinds of leg levelers. These are your common ones. They're stamped and they're heavy duty.
Okay. Where do you get those, Ray? Because I know that there are ones that look similar, but they're not heavy duty.
They don't have this stamped thick bottom. They're just plain dish. There's no shape to it. That signifies that the steel is not thick. It's not shaped. This shape here has a purpose. Inside here is a carriage bowl shaped part of this bolt, and that is what enables you to get the pivoting action. The cheap ones don't have that. They're just all flat across, and there's no part for the ball pivot, which is the same on the cheap one. So it breaks out the very easily.
Quickly,
with any kind of weight on it. Don't buy those. They're a waste of money. These are not even that much more.
Where are you buying those at, Ray?
I buy them from Pinball Resource,
okay.
Steve Young. There's different kinds. Here's the same type of 3-inch rear one, only this is for a hard surface.
Hardwood floor.
Yeah, hardwood floor. The other kind does not pivot, but this is for carpeting. This has your carpet slide surface.
Neat.
Generally on a pinball, you can get away without the pivoting action. The solid one would just be a little bit of an angle. I mean, these are generally for video games where there's no pitch.
No angle.
A pinball has a slight angle. That's why you need this pivoting.
So let's say don't put that on your pinball machine.
I wouldn't, because your patch, it's going to bend it, but your patch is not going to be full.
And really, if you're on carpet, the standard heavy duty's fine.
Slide fine.
What I like for the hardwood floor protection are these little rubber feeties. They fit on there nice.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
And they stay on.
And those are available.
These will not slide.
Steve Young sells those sets too. Well, we picked up, well, I don't know, 10 sets of them at the last show when we saw them. They're good stuff.
Right. Anyway, that's an overview of legs. Now, there are different lengths and there are different configurations. This is a 27-inch no-rib leg. What I mean by that is it has no side ribs, which came out in your later games.
Okay.
First, they went with no rib legs, different lengths. This is 27. As you can see, this is a longer one. This is a 31. They measure from tip to bottom to get that.
Okay.
There's an application chart on Pinball Resource website.
Steve Young again has.
Yeah, it's a nice reference.
It covers a good number of games.
Yeah,
standard
like
stuff.
always though, consult your owner's manual. It'll tell you what length went on.
Okay.
Yeah, some games are crossovers. Haunted House takes 27s on the front, 31s on the back, like Black Hole. It's kind of a rarity though to see two different kinds of legs on a pinball. They're generally square.
Some of the System 80 Gottliebs did it.
Right. 27s went on a lot of the old solid state wedge head games, as well as 31s. Depends on where the cabinet bolts are on the game. But there again, you go on the website at Pinball Resource and you go under legs to find out what you have if you don't know what you got. And what you got might be wrong. Full rib 28.5s came out with WPC games.
Okay.
Mostly. Before that, though, they had this. This was an 80s thing they did. They did half rib.
Taxi, with the System 11 games.
Yep, System 11s of the 80s had these. Then they went to this on all the new ones.
What was Bally doing at that time?
Bally was...
Were they still the mid to late 80s Bally's?
Yeah, well, they used the no rib painted legs on some of them.
They were still using the Bally Grays.
Bally Grays, yeah. And there are versions that are painted, and these are powder coated. It's a nice durable coating. They changed the nut down at the bottom on the games. This is an example of what the earlier games did. They just simply threaded the folded over metal, and you've only got about
Not much.
4 threads between the two pieces of metal. Very weak. They strip a lot. The newer legs and the reproduction legs, they came out with this nutsert. They actually have a big hole and they crimp this on. It's like a nut plate in a way. So this has a lot more threads.
Makes the assembly stronger.
Well, yeah, I mean, look how many more threads it has. Anyway, that would cover legs. You've got some different colors available besides the Bally Grays. The newer machines came out with powder-coated colors. You can get any color you want, actually.
Yeah.
Some of your games, like the Roadshow over here, had
Blue.
Colorized legs.
Yeah.
Very seldom, though. Most games came with chrome legs. They did start doing black textured legs for your Sterns and your Capcoms and your Data East toward the end, in all different lengths. This is a 28.5 full rib textured.
Now, what's Stern doing now? New Stern. They're back to the chromes again, or
Yeah, I think they are.
Yeah.
Or custom LE legs have powder coated
Sure.
colors. Yeah, the paint. The drawback is you get scratches on the texture.
Yeah, they're not. They're
These are not
delicate.
powder coated. These are textured paint. Unlike your powder coated colors, which are a lot more durable.
And they're still delicate.
They will chip too.
And of course, you want to put the right length legs on your game so that you don't have your one set of levelers way high and the others way low to try to get the game to play correctly.
And then the play pitch is a matter of taste. 7 to 9 degrees. Any less, it'll play slower. Any more, it plays too fast. It's a matter of taste. You want a.
But then again, so is the choice of the legs. Again, if you have the right length, that's great. But for instance, the Bally Grays, the Centaur we did, it looked better with chrome.
It did.
There was no difference between the Williams of that age chrome and the Bally Grays, other than they weren't
chrome
painted.
is universally appealing to me.
But then the Rolling Stones, I think we put the Bally Grays on there, and they look stock and they look nice.
Yeah, because of the colors.
So it's a matter of taste, but all of it's better than rusty old. You've got 2 Gottlieb legs and a Williams leg and a Daddy East leg on your game because you bought it up the street.
There's no need to cheap out with it. It's from a retail standpoint, whether you're fixing or reconditioning games or replacing legs on your own game as a homeowner, they're inexpensive. It's a good tune-up.
Standard leg runs what, about $14-15?
Yeah.
Plus shipping. Pinball Resource is a good resource for them. I guess also Pinball Life if you're out there on the West Coast.
Even that being said, $70-80 for legs, leg bolts, and new levelers is relatively a cheap cost to tune up a game. rather than stripping it and glass beating it and painting it.
Yeah, you spend
trouble.
14, 15 bucks worth of work trying to sandblast something and have it come out looking like, it looks like that half rib looks like somebody gave it an effort, and
Yeah, they did.
and it's rusting already.
It will, yeah.
Uh,
These are remade. We don't have any new sets.
we need to order those, Ray.
Yeah, we used
We're
them
out.
all. Pinball Life is where I was getting them. There are other people doing it now, but for a long time nobody reproduced this leg. They did these.
They were using the fulls.
Now they have these available, but yeah, we used them all on repairs.
All right, what else you got there?
Well, I don't know. We got leg plates. These are different kinds of
What's
leg
a leg
plates.
plate? Aren't you supposed to put the bolt through and then a nut on the other
Yeah,
side?
on the other side of the leg, you have your 2 bolts. They're standard length. This is a zinc-plated bolt. They're 5/8 head.
Now you don't get that at your regular hardware
No.
store. That's a pinball bolt.
Right. It's not a flat hex head. It's a round, because when it's on the leg and it's on the machine, if you use a hex head bolt that's not flat, it's sharp. You know.
Oh, yeah.
This is more of a finished look anyway.
There are different lengths to those too, aren't there?
Yeah, they have longer ones when you use these. These are cabinet protectors. They're the felt ones. You get a set of 4. They also make plastic versions of them. This is Stern's new idea. You bolt it on the cabinet with 2 little panhead screws, and then this stays on the cabinet. It's very discreet.
It sets your leg off just a little bit.
Yeah, it lifts the leg off the cabinet, and then it's just enough to keep it sturdy. If you have too much distance between the game and the leg, it'll wobble a lot.
Yeah,
no matter how tight you make it.
It'll abuse your leg bolt, and
Right.
it'll abuse all of that.
Yeah, these are only grade 5s at best, if that. So they do strip easy if you don't handle them right.
Okay, give them the leg bolt tip, which is do not buy the.
Yeah, don't buy the black bolts. Black bolts came in a lot of games, and when they iridate these, which is a process of what you color metal, this is iridated gold, this is zinc iridated, this is black.
Would you explain the process of iridation to us?
Well,
'Cause
iridation is a plating. It's not quite chrome, but it's not bare steel. Manufacturers of hardware, they do this to prevent it from rusting before it's bought. Everything is iridated. All your hardware is iridated. It's not plain carbon steel. It would rust overnight. So iridation is a dipping process. It's electroplating, and it puts a thin coating of whatever color, mostly silver, they use.
That's why whenever I walk over to the blast cabinet with any of this stuff, it looks great for about 10 minutes, and then it
You're
don't.
blasting off the iridation, which is very thin. This would come off in the glass beater very quick. So would this, and you'd go back down to the carbon.
But for some reason, the black ones are
I don't know why. Even to this day, I don't buy them anymore.
get one use out of them. You put them in
they
and
are
they
not
strip.
hardened. They do not harden them before they iridate them like they do these. These you got to work hard to strip. This you don't have to work hard at all. The gold is somewhere in between the two. I think these are almost as hard as this because I've used these and they're fine. But the black, I don't know about it.
Well, maybe if somebody out there knows what's going on with the black bolts, or I don't know if
It's an anomaly. It happens.
Yeah, I don't know if any of these people that are working at Bay Area or Pinball Life or
And I'll tell you
or
one
even
thing.
Steve, maybe they know what's going on there and are going to come up with an update to it.
If you strip this, trying to get it back out, you strip this.
You mess up your leg plate
Yeah,
too.
and at best, if you're lucky, you can get it out, number one. Sometimes it'll hourglass and you won't get it out. You'll have to work. If it strips your plate, these you don't have a prayer. If you strip one of these out with a bad one of these trying to get it in and out, then you got to put a new plate
Get ready
on
to
it.
do your leg plate.
This you may be able to run a die through a tap, then you'll get away with maybe cleaning this up. But just be aware of the leg plate thing. This is a good thing to do if you have a great cabinet, especially with stencils. On any stencils, you want to use some kind of cabinet protector.
Well, yeah,
Either the
stencils
felt-
and the decals, because the decals are always in trouble right from the door at the legs.
This will take the scuffing action because on a machine you probably got this much from here on up contact, or at least from here on up, and it will actually, because of playing and moving the machine, it'll actually
Damage the wood, damage the artwork.
Shifts the artwork like crazy, sometimes 1/4 of an inch or more. So you want to use something like.
There's also the pin cabs. We'll show a photo of the.
Yeah.
I've got those on the Strange Science out there. I kind of laugh at the pin cabs. It was a neat idea, and I guess they were the first to talk about
Doing this.
doing this.
Yeah.
And Ray, it reminds me, and I'm going to date myself here. Back when I was in high school, there was this fad. People would put these bras on their car.
Oh yeah.
You remember bras
Yeah.
on the car? You don't see bras on cars anymore.
Right.
But what they ended up signifying is the front end of my car is wrecked, and I'm going to hide it with this bra, because they didn't really, they were supposed to protect from rock chips and stuff like that. But what they actually did is the wind would make them scuff the paint, and the sun would cause the car to fade at different speeds. So you had two problems going on there, and none of them were actually helping your car. So I found that the pin cabs do the same thing. They're great at, if you've got some damage at the area with your decals or artwork that you want to kind of discreetly cover up. The pin cabs are great. If you're working with I just put new decals or just painted my machine, then not so much, because what it actually does is it just moves the wear spot.
It moves the wear.
It moves the wear spot to further up the cabinet.
They start to move the paint out further than the leg would have. So
Yeah.
now you're really in trouble, because now you can't go out any further, because
Which
generally the pin cabs come in all colors, but generally they go out at least 3/8 of an inch from the leg.
Yeah.
And you can get away with covering up damage caused by a leg.
So they're great for that, but as far as for brand new artwork,
wouldn't do it. I'd
don't
do
recommend
this.
it. In
This
fact,
is what I would do.
I'm not really sure why I did it on the Strange Science out there, although that's a little bit different because it's got T-molding there. It was a little bit of an odd configuration. In fact,
would
I'm not
use
really
these.
done with that. We're going to powder coat those legs white at some point, Ray.
Either these or these. I like the these don't have any adhesive either. Don't get the ones.
Oh
with
my, the
adhesive.
foam,
Don't
that was a
get
loss.
The foam ones. No, they're terrible.
That destroys everything.
Yes, they're not a good idea. In theory they are, but they're not.
Yeah, because they glue themselves to your artwork and they
Right.
make a sloppy mess out of everything.
And leg plates are early in later editions. These were used in electromechanicals all the way up through even the mid 80s to so forth. Depends on the cabinet maker, I think, because this is a different version of it. It has a tab on the top for a ground, I think, would be it. These extra holes here are for ground screw, and then they nail them in, and that keeps them. Yeah, that keeps them in the cabinet.
Now, if I have this old style one, which gives you about a thread and a half,
Right.
and I'm replacing it, am I required to replace it with that, or can I upgrade to something thicker?
Yeah, depends on the machine. Some places that these went in won't.
Want to accommodate that?
No, it won't. This will not fit. This generally came out in the 90s stuff, and it bolts to the both corners to make it stronger in build, as well as here. And of course, they added threads and a nut plate
the
here.
thickness of the plate is much thicker. They give you a whole
Yeah.
handful of threads instead of two.
Yeah.
But the one in the middle there, would I be able to put that on, say, a Bally or
Yeah.
old Bally?
And
old
the pattern,
Stone?
the bolt pattern is the same. The threads are the same. There's no difference. I've seen these on Gottlieb's more than anything else. These I've seen on Williams and any kind of old or EM machine, rather.
I'm afraid of those because, if you got Wolfie setting up
Yeah.
a machine or He-Man
I like
does.
using,
Go ahead.
yeah, I like using a leg wrench. This is made by Gear Wrench. It's 9/16 and 5/8. This will do any legs or back box bolts. You don't need to carry a lot of tools. If you use a nut driver or electric drill with a nut on a socket on it, you risk stripping either this or this, because unless you have the torque set right, and even then the pounding action tends to beat the threads up, and not a real good idea. And when you get near tight,
But Ray, I like to do that.
yeah, when you get near tight with one of those things, if you have the torque set right, it's not the same as when you go down by hand to get it set better. So if you really want to shortcut winding them on by hand, that's fine. use your electric drill thing or your drill driver to get the thread started, then go with this.
Okay, well that is what I do. I'll zing them down because I don't want to waste time.
You're going to strip them out.
I zing them down, and I'm on the setting number. I'm on a light setting, and when it hits bottom, then I snug them up by hand because I really want to feel them be right.
Right, and you're not dealing with a very highly graded hardness bolt.
No,
These might not even be 5s. I don't really know.
And the design is still bad because that bolt should have a
washer.
Well, it should have almost like a flange in it to go into the leg. It's still to this day a bad design.
Right.
But so be it.
I guess that's all there is to be said about legs and leg levelers and bolts. If you're going to be doing your leveling adjustment, you want to get an inclinometer.
What?
Inclinometer. It's a carpenter's device to show you pitch and angle.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I carry one.
What?
Yeah. It'll set your pitch 7, 9, 10 degrees, whatever you want, 5 degrees. Side to side, you just want a bubble level.
People are going to call you crazy all of a sudden.
You want a bubble level to set the top and the bottom of the playfield side to side. And when you use a level on the playfield to do this, actually that's more important than the pitch actually. When you do your leveling side to side, it makes the gameplay right. If
Sure.
it's off, it's not going to be any fun. It'll always go to one side and you won't be able to make shots. You want to put the level, I usually go with a 10-inch level because you can't put a very big one on. You don't want to use the playfield glass, or you don't want to use the back box or anything else because that's not the playfield.
Well, and it's not all. The machine wasn't built square.
No, it's not. No. So you want to put the bubble level on the playfield. And don't use a real short one either because they're too hard to read. You want to get as big a one as you can down near the flippers and then up toward the top of the playfield as far as you can. Practical.
Ray, I do it by hand.
Yeah. You can play it.
I play it, and if it's going, I play so much stinking pinball.
For the people
I play a lot of pinball, and I can tell if the game's leaning left or leaning right.
For the people that like tools and like to play, that's something to do.
You know, I don't know if it was the last Allentown show we went to. I think it was the one before. Steve Mowry from the league was there, and he had his iPhone, and he had this.
Oh, the leveler.
He had this app on his phone.
Level, yeah.
He was sitting it on the glass, and I guess it was the funniest thing. When there are little pinballs in the middle of the screen or whatever, you're good on all sides, and here the thing's judging by a patch that's 2 inches by 3 inches.
No, it's.
But it was funny, and he looked cool doing it. Oh man,
I liked it. Huh?
Okay, so we covered the footies, we covered the protectors, the leg plates. The levelers, the jam nuts, and the different slew of legs that we talked about who they were available from. We talked about Steve Young's wonderful application chart, and of course, really, your manual tells you what legs belong on the game?
In the front.
Okay, well that's good to know. Arcade Russ says whenever you work on a pinball machine, check the manual.
It even tells you what pitch to set it at.
So we agree with all that. Ray, this video is going to be too short because that was not much to talk about.
Well, it was
We'll throw in some pictures of legs. I don't know. You know what's coming next week. Mike at DK Custom Pinball requested that we talk about fuses. He says that every game that he encounters that's not new out of the box has the wrong fuses in it. So, so I'm not leaving this up to you, Ray. I'm picking it. Next week we're going to talk about fuses, the different types of fuses.
What are they? Why do you need it?
What is a
Who
fuse?
cares?
What does a fuse do? What is the danger of overfusing? What's the proper procedure to change a fuse? And we'll throw in the other end of it, which would be the fuse holders,
Right.
And the failures you see there on older games, and what the proper procedure is there to replace that or make sure that your game's going to be reliable. Fuses, and maybe we'll get out a multimeter and I don't know, say something about a multimeter for natural progression out there who's got a multimeter and he doesn't know how to use it. Don't blame him. I got a multimeter for Christmas a couple years ago and I laughed because I can test a fuse with it, and I can test a fuse with a multimeter, Ray. That's
Okay.
I'm good at that. I can jump across a fuse. You know how you test for a bad fuse on your game? You grab a razor blade and you go across the thing, and if it works, then that's a blown fuse. If it zaps and smoke comes out of another component, then I'll call you.
Okay.
And you stock boards on the truck, right?
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, that's all I've got. You got anything to add this week?
No, I think that'll about wrap it up. I hope we help somebody with the mystery about who makes these legs and where to get them. I mean, there are a lot of product suppliers. You know, Marco Specialties is another one. Pinball Life, Bay Area. They're available everywhere. Across the country, you choose somebody near you to save freight, because a set of legs does weigh some to ship. You know, I mean, so that's the way I would buy.
I've seen used rusty legs on eBay.
Yeah, there's no sense to go through the effort to deal with something like that.
It's another inexpensive and
Cosmetic tune-up.
Tune-up to your game,
Oh, yeah.
and it tune up to your floor and carpet too, because who wants to scratch up their hardwood floor and all that stuff?
These are generally rusty.
Get nice stuff.
The metal ones over the years, they get rusty, and they will rust whatever they're setting on.
Okay, Ray. Looks like there wasn't much to say about legs. Got anything else?
No, I don't believe.
Anybody you want to say hi to?
No, I'm good.
You don't like anybody this week.
No.
Where's Jimmy?
Yeah,
Hi, Jimmy. Jimmy's not around for this.
Jimmy. Yeah, I'll see Jimmy later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next week for fuses. We'll see you on Sunday. Come visit us. The totem's going to be done. The totem video. Oh, it's kicking my butt. That's it. Appreciate you watching. Appreciate your subscription. See you soon. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Stay tuned.
Hi, we hope you've enjoyed this video. If you haven't already subscribed, what are you waiting for? Want to know what's coming next? Go like us on Facebook right now. You can keep up to date with all of us here at the shop and what we've been up to. Thank you for watching.
Join the circus.